for us. He's defining it. And also, he's the one who has to prove it is bid'at. He's the one who has to prove it is bid'at, not we. If he says something, it is not for me to look where it is bid'at. He has to prove. His dalil, we know his dalil. It wasn't said at the time of Rasulullah. But is that sufficient to make this bid'at and haram? Bid'at and haram. And we become gunagar. Ma'siyah. I just want to go. Get next one.
Next one again?
Yeah.
Azaan and Iqaamah.
Yes. Leave it there for a minute. Right, if we go to the next slide, please. At the bottom, if you read the beginning of the topic began with Azaan with Tahrif. And I told you what Tahrif was last time. I'm not going to go over that again. But if we just read Ashuhaduanna Aliyan Waliyullah ka izar, खानदानी रसालत की मोहब्बत के पैरवी के दावेदार भी इस सिलसिले में किसी से पीछे नजर नहीं आते। चुनाचे उन्होंने भी मुख्तलिफ औकात और मुख्तलिफ अदवार में शरई अहकाम में कहीं मनपसंद इजाफे किए और कहीं अपनी मर्जी के मुताबिक कमियां की। चुनाचे अज़ान में अशहदुअन्ना अलियन वलियुल्लाह का इज़ाद वो भी, and this is quite important, वो भी बतौर जुज़ अज़ान इन्हीं लोगों के ज़हनी इफ्तिकार का शाहकार है। इसमें कोई शक व शुबा नहीं है कि हज़रत अमीर अलैहिस्सलाम मोमिनों के अमीर, मुत्तकियों के इमाम, अल्लाह के वली और नबी के बिला फसल वसी हैं। और ये अकीदा जुज़्व ईमान है, क्योंकि इस इत्तिकाद के बगैर ना ईमान मुकम्मल होता है और ना ही इस्लाम। अब रही ये बहस कि आया ये फ़िक्रा पढ़ना चाहिए या ना, तो इस सिलसिले में हर शख्स को अपने मर्जा तकलीद की तरफ रुजू करके इसके फतवे पर अमल करना चाहिए। If it finished there, it wouldn't be so bad. But the situation which I have found is that the people who do not recite this, they are still considered as bid'ati. I mean, if the people who follow him or even Qibla Sahib himself said, well, I do not have any worries if you read it or not. In my eyes, I don't read it, my muqallids don't read it, but if you read it, that's up to you. But no, it doesn't end there. It says that you are bid'ati, you are doing fi'l haram, and they are trying to also implement this view upon others as well. This where it exceeds the boundaries. Right, let's, और जहाँ तक इस बात का तल्लुक है कि ये इजाफा कब हुआ, किसने किया और क्यों किया, तो इसके मुतल्लिक इजमालन अर्ज़ है कि इमाम ज़माना की गैबत कुबरा के चंद साल बाद 4वीं सदी हिजरी में ईरान के अंदर आले बुया दैलवी ख़ानदान की हुकूमत कायम हुई, तो बनी उमैया व बनी अब्बास की रविश व रफ्तार के रद्द अमल के तौर पर यह इजाफा किया गया। और जब हज़रत शेख सदूक अलैहिर्रहमा मतूफ़ी 381 ने मन ला यहदुल फ़क़ीह 366 में लिखी, तो उस वक़्त ये फ़िक्रा राज हो चुका था। जब भी तो इन्होंने इसके ख़िलाफ़ यानी शेख सदूक ने भरपूर तरीके से आवाज़ बुलंद की और उनके बाद भी उलमाए अलाम बराबर आवाज़ बुलंद करते रहे। इसी वजह से आप फ़ुक़हा लिखते हैं कि ये फ़िक्रा जुज़्व अज़ान व अक़ामत नहीं है। अच्छा, that's basically the ibarat which I want you to just look at for one moment. Qibla Sahib is saying that, if you go on to the next slide, Qibla Sahib is basically saying is that this started in the period of Ali Buya. Ali Buya came into power in 5 to 6 years after Ghaibat Sughra, meaning about 335. 335 is when Ali Buya came into power. And Qibla Sahib is saying that it started because of them. They were the ones who brought this Ashuhaduanna Aliyan Waliyullah in Azaan, Ali Buya. Now, In academics, when you prove something, you have to prove it. It's no good saying it and expect people to believe it. And this goes for even fiqh. All dalail demand, all da'wah demand a dalil. Every claim has to have evidence. If Qibla is saying that it was started by Ale Buya, then he has to prove it. It is no good saying they started it and this was the reason. Where is the proof? Where is the proof? Now, we can prove something. That this did start in this time, but it was not the Ale Buya who started this. We will now look what Sheikh Saduq says about this. If we go on to
Next slide.
next slide. So what we'll do now, we'll investigate Sheikh Saduq's narration. Also, the ulama who disagreed, Shia ulama, who were saying that Sheikh Saduq, you are wrong. Not just in one issue, but many issues. Ulama had to write books against Sheikh Saduq. Sheikh Mufid wrote books against Sheikh Saduq. Fatwas were given against Sheikh Saduq. He wasn't Masoom. Sheikh Saduq was not Masoom. He could make mistakes. And he did. We have to admit that. And even Qibla Muhammad Najfi, in this book, in Qawaneen Sharia, disagrees with Sheikh Saduq. And openly criticizes Sheikh Saduq. If Sheikh Saduq could be wrong in many other issues, it's possible he could have made a mistake on this riwayat as well. Because this is what ulama are saying. Right, let's read this. This is the book, Man La Yahdur al-Faqih. I think it might be in the car or maybe left it at home, but I have this book. And I brought this last time for you to see. Sheikh Saduq indicates that the Mufawwaza started reciting Shahadat al-Thalatha. Let's just read this. It says, هذا وقال مصنف هذا الكتاب هذا هو الأذان الصحيح لا يزاد فيه ولا ينقص منه والمفوضة. If you read there on the second line, والمفوضة لعنهم الله قد وضعوا أخبارا وزادوا في الأذان. According to Sheikh Saduq, who wrote his book in 366, if in his eyes it was the Ale Buya who started this, according to Qibla Muhammad Najfi, then Sheikh Saduq is saying it is Al-Mufawwaza who started this. So where do we go? Is it Ale Buya who started this? Or do we believe Sheikh Saduq who's saying it's Al-Mufawwaza? And he says, La'nahumullah, may Allah curse them. Okay. Let us look at this and say, if there is a contradiction between two things, one is saying he started it, and another is saying he started it, we have to go to the closest source. It is Sheikh Saduq. Sheikh Saduq is saying it is Al-Mufawwaza. Now, inshallah, if we go on to the next, now, I have at the bottom, if it was the Mufawwaza who started this, the Mufawwaza existed in the time of the Imams. They didn't come into Wujud in the 4th century. Mufawwaza existed even, definitely in Imam Jafar Sadiq's time. Imam Jafar Sadiq's time. Maybe even before, because I haven't read riwayats before that, but definitely in the time of Imam Jafar Sadiq. Mufawwaza existed. Ghullat existed. So if we look at this, the Mufawwaza started this, then there's a possibility that the Mufawwaza started this in the time of the Imams. If it was started in the time of the Imams, then Imams should have said, La'anahumullahu mufawwaza, who created or did izad in azan. Okay, you might come back with this answer, saying, well, they didn't have this. They only started this in the 4th century. You might come back with an answer saying, right, okay, the mufawwaza existed, we agree. Because even in Asr al-Fuad, fi Shar al-Aqaid, there's a discussion on al-mufawwaza. And they were talked about in the times of the Imams. So, another thing is, just because they were mufawwaza and they were reciting this, does it automatically mean that they are wrong in reciting this? No. Mufawwaza, for their aqidah, could be wrong, but doesn't mean that everything they do is wrong. For example, amongst Shias, we have some people who are close to becoming Nusayri. Close to becoming Nusayri. Does that mean that they, well, when I say close, I'm not saying they have become Nusayri, but close in the sense that they're beginning to have these tendencies of Nusayri. Does that mean their namaz is also wrong? And if they say something to us, is that all lie? No. Mufawwaza go in the same category. Their aqidah might be wrong, but doesn't mean if they're doing something, it's also automatically wrong. Now, let us look at some of the other things which Sheikh Saduq alayhi rahmah is saying. Sheikh Saduq says about qunut, dua qunut. He says first of all, al-qunut, kulluhu jahar, meaning every qunut should be said loudly. Wal-qawl fil qunut al-fariza fil ayyam kullaha illa fi yawm al-jum'ah. It says that in every prayer, qunut is wajib. Sheikh Saduq is saying this. Let us see what in Qawaneen Sharia, Qibla Muhammad Sayyid Nadfi is saying. If we go around to if you go next, yeah. If you no, go back again. This is okay. Qunut is not sunnah. In this Qawaneen Sharia, this is a copy from this book, Qawaneen Sharia. It says, मशहूर बैन al-fuqaha ये है कि हर नमाज में फरीज़ा हो या सुन्नत, दूसरी रकत में करात के बाद और रुकू से पहले कुनूत पढ़ना सुन्नत है. He says sunnat. Sheikh Saduq is saying is wajib, and Qibla Sahib is saying it is sunnat. If you go to the next slide, please. What is the time for Maghrib prayer? Sheikh Saduq says that the time of Maghrib is the same as what the Sunnis claim. The Sunnis say as soon as the disk of the sun goes below the horizon, it is then the time for Maghrib. Shias say no, we have to wait until the redness of the horizon disappears as well. So Sheikh Saduq is saying something and Qibla Sahib is saying इसमें तो कोई शक नहीं है कि नमाज मगरिब का वक्त फजीलत या वक्त इख्तियारी गुरूब आफ्ताब के बाद शुरू होकर मगरिबी सुर्खी के ज़ायल होने तक कायम रहता है, मगर इसमें कदर इख्तिलाफ है. He is saying there is differences of opinion कि गुरूब आफ्ताब का मयार क्या है. What do we understand that the sun is now set? The sun is now set. We do not understand this fully. He says, Baz ulama name Qarse Aftab. Qarse Aftab basically means the round sun and goes below the horizon. Ki zahiri poshidgi ko kafi qarar diya. As soon as it goes below the horizon, Shia ulama are saying that is sufficient. Magar asha. Ye hai कि शरी गुरूब उस वक्त साबित होता है कि जब मशरकी सुर्खी ज़ाहिर हो जाए. So basically, Sheikh Alama Muhammad Sayyid Nadfi is saying that, in my opinion, the most correct opinion is that when the redness of the sky is gone. Let's go to the next slide. This again is from Ahsanul Fawaid, this book here. Go on to the next slide. If you go to the bottom, मुसन्नफ के बयान करदा नजरिया पर जनाब शेख मुफीद की तनकीद. The chapter Babul Itqad fil Lawh wal Qalam. And he is saying, Qibla Muhammad is saying that Sheikh Mufid has contradicted Sheikh Saduq. Janab Sheikh Mufid alayhi rahman ne is maqam par musannaf meaning Sheikh Saduq alam ke bayan karda matlab par tanqeed karte hue aakhir likha hai. There's the Arabic, and then if you go to Urdu, yani jin hazrat ye ख्याल है कि लो व कलम दो फरिश्ते हैं. Sheikh Saduq is saying that Law wa Qalam are two angels. Sheikh Mufid is saying whoever claims that Law wa Qalam are two angels, वो इस सिलसिले में हक से बहुत, go on to the next slide, बहुत दूर हो गए हैं. क्योंकि मलाइका के नाम लोह व कलम नहीं होते और ना ही लुगत में किसी फरिश्ते या इंसान का नाम आज तक लोह व कलम मालूम हो चुका है. So you get the point. Sheikh Mufid is contradicting Sheikh Saduq. Go on to the next one. छठा बाब खुदा की मशीयत. Again, Babul Itqad fil Arada wal Mashiya. यानी अल्लाह का अरादा और अल्लाह की मशीयत की बहस है. Again, in this book, Ahsanul Fawaid, Hazrat Sheikh Mufid की तनकीद. The criticism of Sheikh Mufid upon who? Sheikh Saduq. And if we read this, Hazrat Sheikh Mufid alayhi rahman ने इस मकाम पर जनाब मुसन्नफ अलाम शेख सदूक पर बड़ी कड़ी तनकीद करते हुए फरमाया है कि मुसन्नफ यानी शेख सदूक ने इस बाब में जो कुछ जिक्र किया है उससे कुछ हासिल नहीं होता, बल्कि इसमें सरी तौर तजाद और तनाकस पाया जाता है. Sheikh Mufid is saying this about Sheikh Saduq regarding Itqad fil Arada wal Mashiya. He's saying you're not going to gain anything from what Sheikh Saduq is saying. Let's go on to the next slide. Alright, okay. Okay, take it. Right, there's another issue of mixed water. Muzaf Pani. Muzaf Pani, again in Qawaneen Sharia, it says about water. This is called Ab Muzaf, mixed water. Arab ka pani hai. Ab Muzaf agar chahe tahir hai, magar barabar mashhoor. Let me just explain this because it's going to be complicated. Basically, it is saying that Sheikh Saduq is of the opinion that you can actually do ghusl and wuzu with Muzaf water. But Sheikh Muhammad Najfi is saying that I am also of this opinion, that you can. But because it is mashhur, that all the ulama agree that you can't do this, so it is better to follow the majority. So my opinion is that you follow the majority. And he says, Agar chahe is ahkar, meaning Muhammad Najfi, ke nazdeek yahi ghair mashhur, remember this, गैर मशहूर कौल कवी है कि इससे हदस व खबस हर दो का अजाला हो सकता है, जैसे कि मुतअद्दिद नसूस में वारद है, मगर एहतियात इसमें है कि कौल मशहूर की इत्तबा की जाए. Meaning that the ulama who say that you can, it's better to follow them. ठीक. Let's go to the next one, please. Again, Sheikh Saduq is of the opinion that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam forgets. He forgets. This is what Sheikh Saduq said in his book, in Manla Yadul Fiqh. And also, Sheikh Saduq says, anybody who does not believe that the Prophet forgets is a Mufawwidha. If you are a Shia and you believe that Rasulullah forgets, according to Sheikh Saduq, you're okay. But if you believe that Rasulullah does not forget, does not make mistakes, then according to Sheikh Saduq, you're Mufawwidha. Now, what does Sheikh Mufid say about this? Go on to the next. Leave for a second. In Man La Yahdul Faqih, it says in hadith number 1032, it starts from the bottom. It says, سمعت أبا عبد الله يقول إن الله تبارك وتعالى أنام رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عن صلاة الفجر. Basically, this is a narration from Imam Jafar Sadiq, saying that Rasulullah forgot his morning prayers. He forgot his morning prayers. And then Rasulullah woke up, did his wuzu, and then recited his morning prayers because he'd forgotten. And in this hadith, it's saying that this is actually a rahmah. That if we forget our prayers, it's no big deal. Rasulullah forgot his prayers as well. Now, if you go on to the next, no, go back again. At the top, it says, again, this is from Man La Yahdul Faqih. قال مصنف هذا الكتاب, meaning Sheikh Saduq, إن الغلاة المفوضة لعنهم الله ينكرون سهو النبي. Basically, it's saying that may Allah curse those people who do not believe that the Prophet forgets, who reject that Prophet forgets. Sheikh Saduq is saying, may Allah curse them as well, those who do not believe this. Now, this upset many of our Shia ulama, and it upset Sheikh Saduq as well, Sheikh Mufid as well. If you go on to the next slide, this Risala was written by Sheikh Mufid. It is called Adam Sahw al-Nabi, the impossibility of the Prophet forgetting. He wrote this book in rejection of Sheikh Saduq's saying that anybody who does not believe that the Prophet forgets, may Allah curse him. Sheikh Mufid wrote a whole Risala on this, and the whole of this Risala is also in Bihar al-Anwar. And I just want to go on to the next. This is what he ends up with, Sheikh Mufid. Indeed, for the Shias to rely upon this hadith, the hadith which Sheikh Saduq has mentioned from Imam Jafar Sadiq, on ruling on the Prophet about mistaken error and removing of infallibility from the Prophet through hatred, this is intellectually faulty, of weak opinion, and close to falling into tribulation, and approximating to insanity. These are the words of Sheikh Mufid regarding Sheikh Saduq. We're approaching 9 and I still have... let us now look at this book, Shia Islam. I have it here. Go on to the next page. खैर वो आप करें, वो बाद में आप करें। मुझे पता है मगर वो लोगों को ज़हन में आएगा अच्छा if we I have to go through a lot of material, yeah. We're going to go off track otherwise. At the bottom it says, at the same time that most aspects of 12th theology and the Shia scholars of the Buyid period, Ali Buyid period, were evolving from a traditionalist basis to a rationalist one. Yani, in this book, the writer is saying, Shiaism was going from hadith to aql. Hadith was being used, but there was a tendency towards now rationalism, aql. Sheikh Saduq was purely towards tradition, and Sheikh Mufid, Sheikh Tusi, they were now going towards rationale, aql. Achha. The doctrine of Imamat was moving in the opposite direction. If we carry on, if we go around to, you won't be able to see it, but it says, Ibn Babawai, meaning Sheikh Saduq, of the traditionists, meaning Muhaddisin, of Qum, and also, brothers, remember this, Sheikh Saduq lived in Qum. His environment was Qum, and there's a whole debate, and I'm not going to go into that debate. There's a whole debate on the mentality of the Qummis and the mentalities of the Iraqi Baghdadis and Najafis. There's a whole debate on this, and it's such a fascinating debate. Why is it that Shia Aqaid came from Iraq and not from Qum? There's a reason behind this. There's an intellectual reason behind this. And I have the answer for that as well. The intellectual reasons. And inshallah, at another opportunity, I will talk about this as well. So, if we go on to the next slide. Indeed, Ibn Babawai, Sheikh Saduq, accuses his opponents on this point. What point? That the Prophet does forget. And anybody who does not believe this, he accuses of being ghullat, meaning mafawza ghullat. Then, Al-Mufid, at the second line, Al-Mufid, Sheikh Mufid, in turn, accuses the traditionists, meaning the Muhaddisins of Qum, traditions of Qum, of taksir, falling short, i.e., failing to give the Imams and the Prophet their due. Then, all subsequent Shia writers have agreed with Al-Mufid, Sheikh Mufid. Every writer who came after said Sheikh Mufid is right and Sheikh Saduq was wrong on this point, and have denied the possibility of any error, the impossibility of any error in the words and actions of the Prophet and the Imams. And this is the Aqidah that we hold today, and that is the Aqidah of all our Shia ulama, that the Imams and Nabis do not err, do not make mistake. Let's go on to the next slide. Summary. We're now about halfway, but I've done most of what my introduction is, and now I will try to start bringing in references on Ashuhaduanna Aliyan Waliyullah. So I'll now
speed up.
No, I'm not going to take time, please. You have to allow for this. Allama Sheikh Muhammad Hussain Najfi does not agree with the fatwas of Sheikh Saduq. Do you all agree? And I've only given you a few. There are many, many other fatwas which Sheikh Muhammad Hussain Najfi does not agree with Sheikh Saduq. Qanud, Maghrib, Lahu Qalam, and other issues. Also, Sheikh Muhammad Hussain Najfi, all types of bid'ah are haram and sinful. We covered that. According to Sheikh Muhammad Hussain Najfi, Shahadat al-Salsa began shortly after Ghaibat al-Kubra by the Ali Buya, who were Iranians, in reaction to Bani Umayyah and Bani Abbas. And he claims that this was not recited in the time of the Imams. He has not proven that. Sheikh Saduq, next slide. Sheikh Saduq called those people who do not hold to the view of the Prophet forgetting, Sahab al-Nabi, calling them Mafawza and Ghullah. Also scholars, ulama, during his time, meaning Sheikh Mufid, refuted his beliefs. For example, on the issue of the Prophet forgetting. Also Sheikh Saduq has been called Muqassir, not by me, by the ulama of his time, Muqassir. One who does not recognize the full status of Ahlul Bayt by his contemporaries. Now let us look at this next. Now this rawayat is from Man La Yahdul Faqih. This is the rawayat which Muhammad Hussain Najfi actually talks about in his Islah Rasul. He talks about this hadith, which Sheikh Saduq mentions. If we go through this, it says Al-Azaan, Faqal, and it says what the Azaan is. Allahu Akbar, Ashhadu an la ilaha, Ashhadu anna Muhammad. It goes through all the Azaan. And then when it gets towards the end, it says, La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah. Acha. When it comes to, and you will not be able to see it, wal iqama kadhalik. Wal iqama kadhalik. Basically that means, according to Sheikh Saduq, there are 18 fasals, segments in Azan. Yes? We agree. 18 segments in Azan. According to Sheikh Saduq, Iqama kazalik basically means that Aqamat is exactly the same as the Azan. If there are 18 fasals, segments in Azan, there are also 18 segments in Aqamat. Is that true? No, it's not. There are 17 fasla in Aqamat and not 18. But here, Sheikh Saduq is saying, Iqama kadhalik. And this, you might think that this is something that came in afterwards. This is in all editions. This is in all books are written on Mallahi Hadr al-Faqih. And then he continues, Wala bas أن يكان في صلاة الغداء على أثر الحي على خير العمل الصلاة خير من النوم مرة للتقية. If he's talking about Azan, Sheikh Saduq, he's also saying in this same riwayat, which Qibla Muhammad Najafi has mentioned in his book, this same hadith which he's mentioned, it is saying that if you recite As-salatu khayrum minan nawm after Hayya ala khayr al-amr, in the state of taqiyya, there is no problem. There's no problem. Now, you might think, so what? This hadith itself is open to doubt. This hadith is open to doubt because he's talking about taqiyya. So, we've also realized that the iqamat is 17, but he is saying it is 18. So when we read this, we cannot take this narration as face value. Then if we go further, if we read the second portion of this, you might not be able to see it, but we have covered this, and it says that هذا الأذان الصحيح, this is the Sahih Azan. There should be no increase, no decrease. والمفوزة لعنهم الله وضعوا أخبارا. They have made, وضعوا أخبارا basically mean that mafawza, they fabricated, according to Sheikh Saduq, they fabricated hadith. What types of hadith? Ashuhaduanna Aliyan Waliyullah, Ashuhaduanna Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad khairul bariyah. They invented this. Who? The mafawza. First of all, we do not know whether these mafawza were actually Shia. They may well have been Shia. These mafawza, because we know Sheikh Saduq has called those people who do not believe that the Prophet makes a mistake as mafawza and ghulab. Quite possibly, when Sheikh Saduq wrote this, he was actually talking about those Shias who believed that Rasulullah did not make a mistake. It is quite possible. So we have to look at this hadith in that perspective. And the other thing is, we can also take from this, if you read this hadith, how it translated into Urdu, you will find he's actually saying anybody who regard this as the juz of Azan. If you do not regard this as the juz of Azan, even from this rawayat, Sheikh Saduq says it's no problem. Sheikh Saduq is saying it's no problem to recite Ashuhaduanna Aliyan Waliyullah in Azan as long as you do not regard it as the juz of Azan. On to the next one. We'll cover this next one. Sheikh Saduq in his book on fiqh, his book is Al-Hidayah. In this Al-Hidayah, Sheikh Saduq narrates that there are 20 fasla. 20, we talk about 18, but there are 20 segments in book Al-Hidayah. Also, This narration of Sheikh Saduq is also mentioned in Bihar al-Anwar as well. So there is difference of opinion when it comes to the fasul of Azan. Go on to now Sheikh Saduq. This is Ilal Sharai. I have the Arabic and the Urdu version as well, and I'm just going to read something from the Urdu version. If you read, this is a photocopy from the Arabic version, and it is the Babu Salat, and this is Sheikh Saduq al-Ihrama reciting this, and it's got Ilal Wudu wal Azan was Salam. Basically, the reasons for wuzu, azan, and salam. The reasons. If we look at this narration is about Miraj. Sheikh Saduq now talks about Rasulullah's Miraj and the azan which Rasulullah received in Miraj. Sheikh Saduq. I'm not quoting anybody else. Sheikh Saduq is saying this. And it's very interesting what Sheikh Saduq says here. It's a bit lengthy, but if you bear with me, lots of things will become apparent from this rawayat. Gulashmir is saying, don't read it. Just tell us what it is. Okay. The reason why I think is important because it's a beautiful hadith. It's a beautiful hadith. The reason why it's beautiful, Rasulullah receives azan, and after every fasl, after Allahu Akbar, the angels ask, how is your brother Ali? After every fasl, Malaika are asking, how is your brother? Give him our salams. This is the azan, and we're talking about Imam Ali in the azan. This is why this hadith is so beautiful. Let me just read some captions from it. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has gone to Miraj, and I'm trying to find his where to start. Okay. Let's start from here. Jibreel alayhi salam, go on to the next page please. Jibreel alayhi salam ne kaha. So Rasulullah has been taken to Miraj. Rasulullah is put onto a throne and he's being taken up. And then Allahu Akbar, twice. Allahu Akbar has been said twice. This is the azan. ये सुनकर मलाइका ठहर गए, आसमान के दरवाजे खोल दिए और तमाम मलाइका जमा हो गए और गिरू दर गिरू आकर नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम को सलाम किया और पूछा कि ए मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम, आपके भाई कैसे हैं? अल्लाहु अकबर, रसूलुल्लाह को सलाम किया और पूछा मलाइका ने, आपके भाई कैसे हैं? हज़रत सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया बेखैर। मलाइका ने कहा अच्छा, आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम वापस जाएं तो उन्हें हमारा सलाम कह दीजिए। यानी मलाइका are saying that when you go back, say our salams to Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib. And this is the first fasl. Allahu Akbar. And marratan, it's only been twice. Again, there is difference on the number of fasl. In this book, it is only twice Allahu Akbar and not 4 times. नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया तुम लोग उनको जानते हो? मलाइका ने कहा हम लोग उनको क्यों नहीं जानते? अल्लाह ताला ने तो आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के मुतालिक और उनके मुतालिक यानी अमीर अल-मोमिनीन के मुतालिक हम लोगों से अहद व पैमान लिया और हम लोग मुसलसल आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम पर उन पर दरूद भेजते रहते हैं। इसके बाद अल्लाह ताला ने इस महमल में 40 then again Rasulullah is taking further, and then when they reach Ashhadu la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu la ilaha illallah, ये सुनकर मलाइका फिर से मुज्तमा हो गए और आसमान के दरवाजे खोल दिए और बोले ए जिब्राईल अलैहिस्सलाम, तुम्हारे साथ ये कौन है? इन्होंने जवाब दिया ये मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम है, मलाइका ने पूछा क्या ये मबऊस हो गए हैं, has he been appointed? इन्होंने कहा yes, हाँ जी। रसूल सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम बयान करते हैं कि फिर वो लोग मेरे पास आए, मुझे सलाम किया और कहा अपने भाई को हम लोगों को का सलाम कहिए। अगेन अशहदु अल्लाहु अकबर, मौला अली का जिक्र, फिर ला अशहदु ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, अशहदु ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, फिर मौला अली का जिक्र। एंड दिस continues in every फसल। हर फसल के बाद मलाइका ने मौला अली का पूछा। And then it finishes off by saying hayya ala salat, hayya ala salat, hayya ala falah, hayya ala falah। तो मलाइका ने कहा दोनों आवाज़ों करीब करीब हैं। इसका मतलब ये है कि मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के ज़रिए सलवात, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam salat, meaning the prayers, has been made strong through Rasulullah, और अली अलैहिस्सलाम के ज़रिए दुनिया में फलाह कायम होगी। यानी हय्या अल सलात, हय्या अल फलाह, हय्या अल सलात से मुराद रसूलुल्लाह सलात को कायम, और हय्या अल फलाह से मुराद ये है मलाइका की गुफ्तगू अर्श के ऊपर। I think that's sufficient. And if anybody wants to read this, it's a beautiful hadith. Go on to the next. Next one, and the next one. Go to Al-Mabsud.
Al-Mabsud, yeah.
Reference, go one back. Acha, Al-Mabsud. This is Al-Mabsud. This is Sheikh Tusi's work. Al-Mabsud. Sheikh Tusi, I have to say this quickly, is that scholar who has given fatwas, and after Sheikh Tusi, nobody gave a fatwa until Allama Adris Hilli. 150 years after Sheikh Tusi, nobody dared to give a fatwa against him. When it came to Sheikh Saduq, Sheikh Mufid against him, Said Murtaza writing, Sheikh Tusi is writing against him. When it came to Sheikh Tusi, everybody was scared to give a fatwa which contradicted Sheikh Tusi. Now let us see what Sheikh Tusi says about Ashuhaduanna Aliyan Waliyullah. Right at the bottom, it's got Fasul Azaan. Might not be able to see that. It continues, go on to the next page. I'm not going to read the whole ibarat. It talks about the azan. I'm now going to sort of speed up, try to get this over quickly in the next 10-15 minutes. فَأَمَّا قَوْلُ أشهد, this is Sheikh Tusi now saying, فَأَمَّا قَوْلُ أشهدوأن عليا أمير المؤمنين وآل محمد خير البرية على ما ورد في شواذ الأخبار فليس بمعمول عليه في الأذان ولو فعله الإنسان لم يعصم به. This is the most important part. He says, فَأَمَّا قَوْلُ, as regard to the saying of Ashhadu anna Aliyan Amir al-Mu'mineen wa Ali Muhammad Khair, there are different narrations basically. Sheikh Saduq is saying that wa Ali Muhammad Khair al-Bariya is a narration, Ashuhaduanna Aliyan Waliyullah is a narration, and what has come to us, ala ma warada fi shawaz al-akhbar, what has come through shawaz al-akhbar. The word Sheikh Tusi is using here, that these traditions are shaz. Shawaz al-akhbar, shaz, shawaz. What does this mean now? Go on to the next. What is shaz? Sheikh Saduq has said that hadiths exist. Sheikh Tusi is saying that these hadiths do exist. He admits. Sheikh Tusi is admitting that these hadiths exist. But their condition, according to Sheikh Saduq, is that they're mufawwaza wada'u. They fabricated this. Sheikh Tusi is saying that they are not fabricated. Sheikh Tusi saying they are not fabricated, but they're only shaz, ya shawaz, plural. Shaz means the tradition is not mashhoor. It is not popular, it is rare, but they exist. You might think, okay, Munzir, can you show us some of these Shah's akhbar? I can say no. Why? Because Sheikh Tusi's library was burnt by the Seljukis. The biggest Shia library in the world was in Baghdad. And that was burnt by the Seljukis when the Seljukis overtook the Alibuya. So what is the relationship? Shah's narrations, they are mentioning Shahadat al-Thalitha. These akhbar are mentioning that to recite Ashuhaduanna Aliyan Waliyullah in Azaan, they exist. Sheikh Tusi is saying this. And also, Shah's akhbar, rare akhbar, they are authentic. They're not ghair mutmir. They are authentic, which have been narrated by our imams. Shah's akhbar are narrated by our imams. Our imams have said this. And Sheikh Tusi says they do exist. So the permissibility of saying Shahadat Salasa in Azan, but they are not mashhur. The Shias knew of this as well, that these hadiths exist. If Sheikh Tusi knows it, then other people know it as well. So Sheikh Tusi, in Al-Mabsut, in his fiqh work, he is saying, Lam yasim bihi. It means that he who says this, Ashuhaduanna Aliyan Waliyullah, Lam yasim bihi. There is no sin upon him. Sheikh Tusi has given his fatwa, and nobody dared to contradict his fatwa for over 150 years. Nobody dared. And if anybody dared, and this is in books as well, if anybody dared to challenge Sheikh Tusi, Imam Ali would intervene, and there's a narration about this as well, that some people objected to Sheikh Tusi when he wrote Al-Nihaya, and they went to Imam Ali to ask, is Sheikh Tusi right in this? And Imam told them that Sheikh Tusi is right. And that was the reason why nobody gave a fatwa against Sheikh Tusi, because Imam Ali verified Sheikh Tusi. Sheikh Tusi was verified by Imam Ali. You might think, how can no Shia not give a fatwa or opinion, different opinion against Sheikh Tusi? This was the very reason, because Imam Ali had verified that Sheikh Tusi was right. So Shah's ikhbar is akhbar, traditions which go back to our imams. Now let's, inshallah, I plan to finish in 10 minutes. Inshallah. But inshallah. Let's look at Sharh al-Ummah. Sharh al-Ummah is one of the most important fiqh books, and Qibla knows better than me.